Hello, welcome to the next installment. This is Painting with Rob, the only show, really, and there's not a lot else to be said about it. So, right off the bat, we're going to jump right in. I was encountering a problem in the past couple of years where my mind doesn't function like it used to, and I've been having a little trouble coming up with ideas. So, when I had a burst of creativity, I decided to write some down. So, without further ado, we're going to use our hands fancy wheel here. Our categories today are infant, the United States. United is in quotes. United is going to be appearing in every correct answer. We're going to deal with foreign history, a $10 bill, and it looks like one of them just says "sa," and Cassim Milks. So we're really just going to get right into it. This is it for the money. Ooh, a $10 bill. Looks like we are in for a treat this episode. We're going to just go over here and open up our painting tool. There it is. Just like I remember it. It really is just like I remember it. I don't know how many of you have tuned in to an episode of Painting with Rob recently, but really what we do, we just have a lot of laughs and we learn a lot about painting at the same time. So go ahead and get your calligraphy brush out. I remember there was one time a couple of years back where I was trying to use a calligraphy brush and it just went right through the paper. All right, now we're going to start by making the left edge. Make sure that this is perfectly straight line. You want to get it as straight as possible. I don't know how many of you in the audience of this live show have seen a dollar bill before, but I don't exaggerate when I say it's got straight edges. They call a ruler straight edge in elementary school, but this is a straight edge. You want to have it be basically like this. You might be wondering, what's so special, right? It's a $10 bill. It looks the same as every other dollar bill that anyway I've ever seen. And you're right, but don't get cocky because there's a lot to painting that you just don't understand yet. And if you're going to come in with that attitude, you might as well just stop painting altogether immediately. You're going to want to get a darker green to fill in the dollar bill. And next comes the fun part. We're going to draw the president's head on there. This is the yummiest part of painting, is when right here you draw using the spray can to give it that like dollar bill look. Draw just the most perfect circle. Make sure to really accentuate it up here. Perfect. All right. Next up, you're going to want to get a really fine brush. Now, this is the fun part. Painting is all about getting in the nitty-gritty. If you're not getting in the nitty-gritty, it's just not painting unless you do that. So we want to get really right into the nitty-gritty. And we want to go up here and switch our brush to brush. And we're going to go to our color swatch. This time, however, we're going to choose a much lighter shade. Something like hue 98 with a 103 saturation with a 186 lum. And that should be about it. We're going to start off, I don't know what president is on any of the bills. I think they're all George Washington, right? We're going to draw George Washington. Usually when I paint, I like to share some fun facts with the audience. Fun fact about George Washington, he actually never owned a slave. He was actually instrumental in the whole against slavery thing, with the whole Civil War that he led against the Union. He never told a lie, chopped down cherry trees, he had llama teeth, and people call him the Great Emancipator. He also had a very protruding chin, which is something that you'll likely find with most presidents. Good luck finding a president with a chin that's not protruding. I mean, practically half the job. And here, some of you might find it hard to accentuate the llama teeth in the drawing. So if you need to do that, get into the real nitty gritty and bring your zoom all the way in. Give him some very nice eyes. You want him to appear very awake and not at all sleepy, because George Washington was never sleeping. You think this man could have crossed the Delaware? You think this man could have purchased the Louisiana Territory if he was just in bed all day sleeping? No, I don't think so. It would have been probably somebody else's problem, like Obama. We have pupils here. Make sure he doesn't look cross-eyed, because no president's ever been cross-eyed. Fun fact, William Howard Taft died several years ago. Several, like a lot. Alright, cool. I think that's enough, honestly. Oh, he needs a mouth. Because, I mean, those politicians, they just don't stop talking. Oh, 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 okay. We're going to go with a nice blue for the mouth. And you want him to be happy. Because what is a president if not happy? They're happy all the time. You look at a picture of George W. Bush right before he went into office versus right after he comes out of office. He's got a smile on his face in like half of the Google image results, if I remember right. Now, here's where we get creative. We need a lot of political humor. So I'm going to draw right in the middle of his mouth an S. So once you're finished with the face now, we're going to take it back. And you might think, you did that a bit small. No, I don't think we did, really. I think we did it too big. Okay. And you're done. Now at the bottom we have the motto of the United States, which is E pluribus 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 unum. Now, I don't know if any of you watching this show, of course, I assume you are all under the age of 6, 7. Hang on. All under the age of 8. Sorry. 8, and I'm supposed to say happy birthday to Cynthia, who's turning 16, it looks like. That can't be right. She's not under 8. Hang on. Cynthia is turning 15? That's also not right. It's also not under 8. How many is it? What chapter is that? 15. Here we go. Okay. When in doubt, lie. Okay. Oh, wait. Alright. Well, the book doesn't say that. What book? Happy birthday to Cynthia, who is turning 7, who's turning 7 this evening. Really good for her. Today is April. So Now we're going to come back here. I didn't mean to do that. All right, perfect. So now we're going to get actually ready to make the, it's not a dollar bill unless it's got some numbers on there. So we're going to draw a big S, and then on this side, we're going to draw a big S also. And here's the kicker, though. This one's going to have 2 lines through it. And up in this corner, now, I mean, who knew that so much trivia would be coming forward? But our great country really does have a lot of extremely unique history. It's what you might be thinking. What's a common? What you're probably wondering is what trivia I'm going to share with you for the dollar bill, the $10 bill, which is what we're drawing this episode. There's an owl on every single dollar bill. There it just is, always, and it's never been discredited. Every Secretary of Treasury in the history of the United States has told the people of the country that there is an owl. So we have to draw it completely to scale, otherwise it is literally a federal offense to draw this. Sort of need to get it some eyes there so it can see. And then it's got a beak, because it's an owl, and it's got a tummy right there. And it's spreading its wings, and here's the cool part, though. There's so much detail in all of these. It's got little hands on the end of here. And this hand is holding arrows, and this side is holding olive branches. And this symbolizes the contrast of violence and of peace. And you'll notice that the beak, so the head of the owl, is facing towards the olive branches. You have to include the arrow, otherwise stupid people in the United States wouldn't get it, which is weird considering how smart all of America is. Sort of a interesting thing. And underneath the owl, we're going to say we're using a bit too big of a font size. We're going to take it down just a notch. Take it down to 8. We're going to say, I endorse this. And we're going to put the president. Oh, spelling error. Embarrassing. All right, and we're done with that corner. Ah, shoot. Careful with the zoom, because it's a tricky devil. Now, I'm sure most Americans will be pleased to know that the $10 bill actually has a huge number of sort of safety things, and it's meant to protect people from counterfeit bills and to stop them from producing counterfeit bills as like a, you can't print this, So if you hold the dollar bill up to the light, it'll actually have this big yellow circle to the side of this guy, and right on the front, it'll say this, and we're going to type this out to make it more realistic. Please don't All right, that should stop the bleeding until I can get someone to look over the fine print. Oh God, what happened? All right, so that's an interesting security feature. It really is one of those nice little quirks about our country that is really just a nice little quirk. And a funny thing too, if you're ever wondering how people don't lose their money, they have these things called wallets. It's a really cool thing. It's sort of like a gift basket that you can find on the bus. When you're living in the city, you can snatch one, and people will be like, "Oh, you snatched my wallet," and then they'll be like, "Oh, I'll snatch yours back." And then it's kind of like a sort of a mini game, kind of unspoken rule about the cities of the United States. it's called Wallet Snatchers. That's the name of the game.